Yes, people, welcome to Albert JTV. Friday Night Live. North London Derby, as far as we know, is going ahead. But before we get into it, people, let's hit the intro. Derby Day has nearly arrived. Not just any old London derby, but the big one, the North London Derby. The blue and white of Tottenham versus the red and white of Arsenal. Holly's Hotspurs meets Albert JTV. Match preview time. Welcome to Albert JTV. And there you have it, people. What an intro, even if I do say so myself. As you guys can see, I've got some very special guests with me too. As we already know, people, there's been an announcement the game might not possibly even go ahead. But as far as we know at the moment, we have a North London derby. You know, the way things are going, I'm going to get my football boots out. I might get a game for Arsenal the way things are going at the moment, but we'll see. But people, like I say, smash the like button if you haven't already and subscribe to the channel. People, so yeah, it's been a while since I've done a live stream, actually. God, I've might be a little bit rusty tonight, but we'll see. Because it's North London Derby, I might just warm up a little bit fractionally. I've got my drink here. So further ado, let me introduce my bestie from Northwest London, Lottie Van Totti. Welcome aboard to the London Derby preview.
Thank you. I'm good. Thank you for having me back. I mean, it's great to be back on one of my favorite channels, and this, of course, with one of my favorite hosts on the YouTube team.
Oh, Lottie, you are too kind of. Thank you for the very, very kind words. Now, people, as you can see, we are joined by the other half of North London. One's my Tottenham wife and one's my kind of bestie as well. And I want to welcome both of them. Firstly, Holly, welcome back to Albert JTV. I've got permission from the Arsenal YouTube community to allow you on here, but you know what? It's grateful to get you. Holly, welcome back again.
Thank you for inviting me back. And like I say, I haven't got my vest on this time, so it's all good. I feel like I'm actually allowed to be here this time, but no, I appreciate it, Albert. Thank you for inviting me back on.
Yes, I'm glad to get you on, but also, you know, I still hate your team, but it's fine. We'll get through it. But first introduction to Albert JTV. Welcome to the red carpet, Jay. My first ever couple on YouTube history. This is amazing.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on, man. Yeah, I'm really excited. It'd be nice to obviously, like on Holly's channel, we get to talk about only Spurs, and it's going to be really interesting to, you know, have a little back and forth for once rather than just talking about the same topic. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, this should be very interesting. Welcome to the red carpet, as I keep saying, with a touch of blue and white, Just to call this one word, but it's fine. Yeah, people in the chat, give your virtual waves and goodbyes. Audio listeners, I will put this on my IGTV later on Instagram and also for Spotify and Anchor. So you can hear my dulcet tones once again, because it's been quite a while, to be honest with you. But I'm going to come to my Tottenham guests first, actually. I also want to talk about both managers. Obviously, let's start with you, Jay. At the start of the season, obviously, you had Nuno Espirito Santo. I don't know amongst, obviously, the Tottenham fan base what the feelings were in terms of getting him. And obviously, fast forward to getting Antonio Conte. But sort of start at the beginning. What was your aspirations or thoughts of what Tottenham might achieve at the start of the season?
When they brought Nuno in, I definitely didn't think that we were going to achieve anything more than we would have under Jose Mourinho. I said it when Nuno was appointed. I said we got rid of a negative style of football from a Portuguese manager that's got a history of winning trophies. And we've brought in a Portuguese manager that has a negative style of football who doesn't have any history in winning trophies. So to me, the appointment I was not keen on it from the beginning. And then obviously, you know, the first couple of games, you had the honeymoon period, as managers seem to always do when they come into a new club, especially at the beginning of the season. You know, they have that time to implement a new system. But when it really got to the nitty gritty of it, and he, I should just see that when we got to the nitty gritty of it, and he had to start, you know, changing stuff tactically and had to kind of deal with a lot of the egos in the squad. You know, our squad struggled to respect a lot of managers that haven't won anything. And that really showed. He kind of lost the dressing room very quickly due to his inexperience with such a high level squad. And then the appointment of Conte should have been the appointment that we made at the beginning of the season. Now, obviously, Conte said that, you know, he wanted to take a break from football, which is why he didn't accept the Spurs job. But as Holly will probably agree, knowing Daniel Levy, that is probably code for we didn't offer him enough money at the beginning of the season.
Good, well said. Holly, coming to you, sort of the same question, but also in sort of Nuno's very short stint at Tottenham, did you see anything different from the football that you had with Mourinho and what you got with Nuno?
I don't think really, obviously, the transition from Jose to Nuno, I don't think, like Jay's kind of alluded to, there wasn't really much difference, apart from the fact that one's got prestige and the other hasn't. Obviously, losing the El Sacchio obviously meant that we managed to bring in Conte, which has obviously done us a world of good. And we've seen, obviously, players flourish of them. We've also seen a lot of dead wood that we saw both under Jose and Nuno. So that kind of thing hasn't
I agree
really
with that
changed.
as well. I agree. I do agree, yeah.
So to be honest with you, it's kind of stayed the same, if that makes sense. We haven't really seen, I know we've got more wins under Conte. It's looking more positive, but again, we just can't seem to get over that final hurdle, if that makes sense.
No, I understand that. Before I come to Lottie to talk about our man in the moment, where Arteta causes a lot of, how can I put it politely, a lot of debates amongst the Arsenal fans of how far we've progressed and haven't progressed. Actually, let me come to Lottie right now, actually. Same, like, with the Arteta thing, what were your thoughts about him at the start of the season, and where are your thoughts with him now in terms of what you've seen with the progression or maybe lack of progression with the team?
Well, he's got the players he wants now. So something is happening. We're seeing bits and pieces of what he wants. There's still key players missing with all the drama around the club as well, with Aubameyang, and it doesn't help. But as far as the whole progression and the Arteta in or out conversation goes, I don't touch the Arteta ins or outs. I'm on the fence. I'm there to support the team. I'm not there to support the manager. I just want my team to do well. But the progression has got better. For me, I think it's got better, but we're not there yet. We're nowhere near there.
No. I'll give you my 2 pennies worth about Mikel Signor Arteta. Holly, if I come back to you, I also want to quickly ask you, well, both of you. Obviously, you have ex-Tottenham players that are in the media that like to talk a little bit more than others. Mr. O'Hara, Tottenham are back with getting Antonio Conte. What do you feel about them comments when he made that, to be honest with you?
I think saying Tottenham are back, I think we all kind of thought we were, if that made sense. But we also knew, like, underlying issues that still stayed the same, which is the fact, and I say it all the time, we still have deadwood in this squad. And regardless of whatever manager you get in, if those players aren't up to scratch at the right level, then you're not really going to necessarily turn crap, shall we say, into gemstones, if that makes sense. Because we've had that under Jose. We thought he could have done the business. Obviously, it didn't quite happen. So I think, although Tottenham could be back in the sense we've got Conte at the helm, we've still got a lot of work to do, if that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense, and I couldn't agree with you more, Holly.
I'm quite well suited to this channel, aren't I? Really?
You are. You're just setting it up for me nicely. Lottie will come in and hammer it home as well. But no, it's right. I'm gonna talk about Arteta, but I want to get you. I know you guys obviously support Tottenham, but I want your honest opinions about what you've seen with Mikel Arteta. You guys are both on social media, so you would see the constant to and fro between Arsenal fans, which me and Lottie are very well aware of on Instagram and Twitter, and actually even going to games. But my thoughts about Arteta is, as I said to you guys off camera, I have no problem saying it on my live stream. Some of the Arsenal fan base make me sick. They do. There's this thing that they've got this. I understand as a fan, you want the manager to do well. I understand that. That makes sense for any club you support. But with him, that I don't know what it is. Maybe Lottie can probably even tell me. There seems to be this thing with Arteta where they just cannot see no wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've got an extreme where you've got some fans that completely wanted him gone after Villarreal. That was the last straw last season. But now all of a sudden, 360, he needs more time. He needs more transfer windows. How do you go from wanting the manager sacked to that you want to give him more time? It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense. He makes some very, very odd decisions. Being out of Europe has been a blessing, and it needed to happen. I know Arsenal fans are seduced by, we want Champions League football and we want to hear the Champions League music. Let's be honest, right? If you look at our European record for however many years in the Champions League, it's not very presentable. It's not very good at all, to be honest with you. It's more financial, if we're being totally honest. And, you know, people want to go and see the best teams play in Europe. You know, sometimes you might get hammered, but that's just the way it is. But yeah, I want to come to Jay first. Like, what's your honest opinion of what you've seen in Mikel Arteta, taking into consideration we took on a guy who had no managerial experience and gave him the job at Arsenal?
So I'm going to do this in reverse chronological order, because you talked about the Aubameyang situation and how Arsenal have, in my opinion, totally changed since that situation has been dealt with. And it's so from a neutral, which is very difficult to which is obviously very difficult to do because of the club I support. But if I was a neutral, why didn't it happen sooner with Aubameyang? Why did it take disciplinary action? Why did it take him to do something stupid or whatever he done to produce this great side to watch at the minute, to be honest, in some games? Like, you know, there's a lot of young English talent in there, which is great. And I think a young manager with an egoless dressing room seems to be succeeding at Arsenal, which was not what there was before. You know, you had a dressing room full of pretty much, you know, Aubameyang thinks he's above his station. And Mikel Arteta isn't equipped to deal with those kind of personalities. He hasn't, like you said, he hasn't got the managerial experience to know how to deal with those situations. Whereas, you know, with this young, fresh Arsenal side, minus a couple of players, and we talk about Deadwood, but you guys must feel the same. You know, if you would,
absolutely,
but do you know what I mean? Like he seems to be working wonders with these young kids, and you know, it's just from your perspective, not from ours. From your perspective, it's probably frustrating it didn't happen earlier.
Yeah, no, I got fair points, man. Listen, this is what I say. Like, Lottie knows how I am in terms of my channel. I don't get triggered like a lot of Arsenal fans in regards to what other people's opinions are about Arsenal, because sometimes I ask them, I like to hear what other rival fans say, even if it happens to be Tottenham fans. I'll say that quietly but it happens. But because sometimes you need to sort of take yourself away from the situation yourself as an Arsenal fan. Is it me? Is it what do people see when do they fear Arsenal? Do they see us as a threat? What do they think of our players, the manager, the whole shebang? But no, it's interesting to get your points. And Holly, I'm going to sort of ask you the same question as well, because obviously when I came on your channel, we played you, you know, the North London derby. You was, you know, I guess you wasn't expecting to get that kind of performance from Arsenal at the red carpet. So, well, what's your thoughts on Arteta, sort of going on from what Jay was saying?
I mean, it's going to sound cliche to say I agree, because we don't really agree on much things when it comes to football. But I think that is true in a sense. Like you say, we having this young manager that's managing these young players is kind of adding a bit of fuel to the fire. Like Jay said, we haven't got that ego kind of thing within the team, and I feel now that, I am quite worried to play now, especially obviously you're probably going to speak about the result in the week you've had, but especially against Liverpool, like again with 10 men as well, you held your own. So when I look at Spurs and I think of all the problems we're having at the moment, yes, we might have Conte, Tottenham are back in that kind of sense of Conte, but we have a lot of problems ourselves. So I do feel you guys. I'm not going to sit back and just blag
Sorry,
away.
sorry. Can I just say that again? Sorry, for the purposes of the channel. Would say that. Sorry.
I do feel.
Okay.
Did I hear that straight?
Yes,
Oh,
I
God,
do
my
feel
internet
you.
picked up at the right point. Then that's great.
I would like to point out though. And we'll probably get onto this a bit later. But I always say this, and we've got a couple of Arsenal mates as well. And I always say this: the team that goes into the North London derby in the worst form is normally the team that wins it. So that's all I'm saying. And at the minute, you lot look amazing, and we look average.
I wouldn't even say we look average, to be honest. So in that kind of sense, right now I feel you. Right now I feel you.
Yeah, I'm also going to come. Yeah, sorry. No, Wolf said no. I'm going to come to sort of Lottie. I think going off the back of what the guys are saying, I think we're not stupid enough to know that our record away to Tottenham is awful. We have to go back to 2014. That Riziki wonder goal at White Hart Lane, the screamer that almost ripped the net out of White Hart Lane. It was.
I was in that away end for that goal. I will not forget
beautiful.
that. Beautiful.
But Lottie, it's the guys make a good point in what Jay was saying, because it does. Listen, and I'm going back to, obviously, I like to say my famous saying, 21 plus VAT. I've seen a lot of them. There were many, many years when I was growing up in sort of secondary school days where we went through a period where we could not beat Tottenham for toffee. And I used to go to secondary school and get ripped every single year until 1997 came, or 96, when Dennis Bergkamp scored that beautiful goal at Highbury. But our record, for some reason, away to Tottenham, we're at the Emirates, so we're at home, we're fine. But it's when we go away to Tottenham, we just cannot seem to get a W. If the game does go ahead, obviously, do you see that? What's your feeling? What's your feelings and thoughts going into this North London derby, Lottie?
At the moment, we're on a roll, especially after we're holding Liverpool for at least 71 minutes last night. Yeah. We've got no 34. I refuse to say his name. He can go in the bin because he normally picks up a card or two when we're over there. My only concern, if we do go ahead, is obviously Saka is fatigued. Yeah. Sambi's in the middle of the park on his own. And if we put Charlie Patino there, we will literally be ripped to shreds. I think the only advantage for us at the moment is that they've got no sun. But then again, our away fans are literally the best. After drowning out Liverpool.
They only sing for the first 10 seconds anyway. They literally sing their song at the beginning and then don't sing for the rest of the match. So
that's you getting there. You there. Yes, I'm really Liverpool fans a little bit. I'm happy with that.
I don't know what you've been watching, but our away support is brilliant.
No, not yours. I'm on about
Liverpool. Don't get me started on our home fans. Don't get me started. I stand in those stands and I will stand there and sing stuff on my own. I don't care.
No, they're talking about Liverpool. I'm talking about Liverpool. And Arsenal fans were singing about Liverpool supporters yesterday. I heard it very, very clear on the television screen. Very quiet. But no, I also want to take a different direction in terms of, because obviously we're in January in the transfer window. We'll start with Tottenham first, actually. In terms of sort of outgoings, firstly, what players in your team or squad, should I say, that you're at a point as fans, you're saying, you know what? It'd be interesting to ask you two, actually, in terms of your fan base. what in regards to your fan base, in terms of, because me and Lottie can obviously talk about Xhaka, for example, amongst our fan base, where
I can give you 11 names.
Yeah.
I can give you 11 names.
Yeah. So is there in terms of sort of Tottenham, your squad and your team, are there any players for you that you're at the point where they need to be moved on without no negotiations? They need to go.
Where do I begin? That is the question.
I could start for you if you want.
I mean, there you go. That just says it all, doesn't it? No, I think number one is got to be Dele Alli.
What has happened to him?
I think it's
apart from his awful hair.
I mean, there is that. I think it's just his passion.
He looks like he's auditioning for Cool Runnings too.
It does slightly. But I just think ever since, obviously, there was that discussion about him going on loan to PSG, I think that would have done him wonders, especially reunite with Poch. Obviously, he was amazing on the pitch because he was like a father figure to him. If I mention the word Poch, though, I think Jay's going to kick off. So I'm going to move on quite quickly. But yeah, Dele Alli should have gone. He needs to change his scenery. And like I said, he's just not it anymore. He might put in the running times and the amount of space that he cuts down, but he's not there anymore for me. He needs to go. I think the main one at the moment that everybody's a bit ticked off is about Tanguy.
That's
Tanguy
what I
Ndombele.
mentioned. Yes.
But the trouble is, no one's going to pay his wages. I think we spent our record signing fees on that player for him not to really apply himself at all. I mean, we can have a long discussion to why that is, but regardless, he needs to go. But whether he goes, that's another question. My man Harry Winks, lots of people are saying he needs to move on. Obviously, I don't want him to move on for obvious reasons, but he's sadly not up to the scratch. If you look at the likes of Skip coming through, like, he's incredible for his age, and hopefully he can maintain that. And we have Højbjerg as well. It's just a very long list. I mean, Jay, have you got anyone add to that mix?
Well, it's mainly financially wise. It's the big ones of Ndombele. Obviously, the rumours are coming out that Bergwijn could be on his way soon. That seems to be mutual. That doesn't, Spurs fans don't particularly hate Bergwijn. It's just it didn't quite work out how we both thought, and it's better to just cut our losses. He gets to go to Ajax while he's still in his prime, and we get maybe a fee, if not a loan with a future option. But well, with, like Holly said, Ndombele is the big one financially with what we want to do with incomings. And with how Levy operates the club, we're going to need people going out the door before we have people coming in. So, yeah. And there's loads of little ones like Joe Rodon. I'd love to milk Newcastle for some money for Joe Rodon.
Is he that bad, Jay?
We haven't seen enough of him.
Yeah,
he was a Jose signing Jose's played a little bit, but only like really in cup competitions. And he's obviously not done enough to impress. He didn't do enough to impress Nuno, and he didn't do enough to impress Conte. So, obviously it was an exciting signing at the time, but it's like any when a manager comes in, they want their players, and then they leave, and a manager comes in, and that player doesn't fit what this manager wants them to do, and then it's very hard for them to break into the team. So. We got like the resurgence of Dyer at the minute. Sanchez is playing quite well,
Sorry. Let me come in, Sergio. Did you just say the resurgence of Dyer?
Well, no, from where he was to where he is now.
Right.
The man was like,
I was to get some clarity. Sorry,
I've played better centre back on a Sunday league than he was at some points, but now he's back to being a competent defender. We'll call it a competent defender now. I might have gassed it up a little bit too much, but it's sadly, and I think you guys aren't too dissimilar to us. We're going to have to see some outgoings before we see some incomings. Like you guys had to ship out Bellerin on loan to Betis and stuff like that last year. So
and that's still not good enough. I want him gone.
Sorry. But this is what I mean. It seems that now that there are only maybe 3 or 4 clubs that will be bold and buy players before they already have where the funds are going to come from. Your Chelsea's will just go out and get what they want. City will just go out and get what they want. And like even like clubs like Leicester and stuff, like they're very good at just going out and getting what they want and then worrying about
Leicester's recruitment is on point. Very, very, very good for a number of years. But before I come to my fantastic Northwest bestie about Arsenal sort of transfers and whatever, I was want to ask you two guys in terms of Ndombele. In some of the games I've seen him play, maybe I can't remember, it might be last season or the season before. There's some games I thought, wow, this guy's a seriously good player, very, very good player. I can see why Tottenham paid the money, but what's happened to him? Was it Jose? Was it under Nuno? What's the issue of why he hasn't flourished at Tottenham?
Do you want me to go?
Yeah, go on.
I think it's kind of what you just said, the fact that he's had to go through so many managers in such a short period of time. He also lost his best mates, which were also a problem for him, hindering his performance, which was Sissoko and obviously who was the other one? Aurier. Them leaving. Obviously, they were his best mates that showed him around Tottenham, showed him his new life in London. And obviously, they went straight out the door. So, in that kind of respects, if you're thinking obviously on the mental kind of thing, he's lost his best mate. He's had to sit through 3 different managers at his time at the club. It's been very short. So in that kind of thing, I do feel sorry for him. But I also think to myself, we've paid a lot of money for you. You've got the talent. Apply yourself.
It doesn't happen in football anymore, does it?
No, it seems that it doesn't. But it's just rather infuriating. I think it's just a bad combination of a lot of different things, I think, personally. It's just so infuriating because like you just said, Albert, you said you've seen moments of magic. And I think all of us as Spurs fans have seen that. It just doesn't continue it or sustain it at any means. It's just so frustrating.
Yeah, I feel your pain, Holly and Jay. I must admit, I'm absolutely devastated for both of you. but listen, I can take the blinkers off, as whether it be rivalry, and I've always said this. I can still say a player as a top player. I don't care if he plays for Tottenham, City, Liverpool, Brighton. A top player is a top player. End of story. I think the problem, I've said this, Lottie will agree with me, with a lot of sections of our Arsenal fan base, they're snobs.
Yeah,
they're snobs. They'll come up with any single excuse as to why a player isn't, inverted commas, good enough. It's crackers. But let me come to my Northwest bestie.
Albert, before you ask me the next thing, the latest one, guys, is Xhaka took the red so that we can get Wiltshire a contract.
Oh my God.
Can we just point out Lottie just said his name?
At this point, I don't care. I think my veins popped back in my head since last night, so you know.
I've heard some things before, but bloody flipping hell. Oh my God.
Wheelchair.
Yeah. But people, big up to you guys. People, thank you again for tuning in. Smash the like button, like I've said already. If you don't know what to do by now, this is what you should do, people. And there you have it once again, people. Obliterate that like button, man. Don't even smash it. Just obliterate it. But Lottie, let me come to you. Is Lottie paused? I think she's paused. Oh no, I've lost her. Yeah, I've lost her, man. But no, I was gonna mention. Yeah, she's gone. She's paused, man. Oh no, Lottie, man, I can't get your thoughts, man. Oh no. Let me quickly go through the chat, see what people are saying. See, my chat's polite for, man. Look, even though I've got Tottenham guests on there, people are not going too crazy, man. Maybe they're watching Coronation Street or something. I'm not sure, but. Oh, get the tinfoil hats out, guys. Crazy talk. Yes, that's very, very true. Yeah. Change in the chat there. So let's see everyone. Yeah, that's it. Oh, she's gone. Right, I've got you two for now anyway until Lottie comes back. Technical issues. Nippon, I will get your question. I saw your question in the chat earlier. I will probably get that at the end to obviously Jay and Holly and obviously Lottie. And I'll even give you an answer myself, even though I've already given it away already. But I appreciate it, mate. Get Albert to 1K. Yes, that is the aim before the end of the season. YouTube's a tougher world out there, Nippon, mate. Trust me, mate. There's a lot of channels out there, but I'll try, my brother. I'll try. But in terms of transfers, Arsenal, where do I start? For the last probably 6-7 years, maybe even longer, all you ever hear, this transfer window is a massive one for Arsenal. I've heard that for about 9-10 years. Let me add Lottie's back. She's back. Let me get her in. Lots, you're back, man.
Yeah.
Let me come to you, Lottie. I was just saying to the guys, I just went through the chat for a little bit, but I was saying to the guys in terms of Arsenal and transfer windows, the last probably 10 years or so, for example, it's a massive transfer window. It's always a big transfer window for Arsenal.
We've done a lot. You got to take everything with a pinch of salt. I mean, overall. Yeah.
Now, we've done a lot of work in the last 18 months getting rid of a hell of a lot of players. Apparently, this transfer window in January, where there's a short list of about 7 players, apparently. That includes the likes of Bruno Gomes, the Yuri Tielemans links. I don't know where the hell those are coming from, but listen, I would drive to Leicester to bring this guy to Arsenal. There's likes of Gigi Wijnaldum. I would assume that would be a loan move. Again, I wouldn't be too displeased with that. What do you want to see as a must coming in this month, Lottie?
Oh, Bruno Guimaraes. That's what I want. That's what I want. That's my Christmas wish that we did over on Canon Chatter TV.
And this is also for footballing reasons as well, Lottie, isn't it?
Of course. He's not a good-looking man. Are you crazy? Are you feeling all right? He's not a good-looking man. Come on.
No, I don't know. I need to see him again. I'm not sure.
He's a solid 6.5. He's a 6.5. I just googled him. He's 6.5.
Exactly. It's not something I'm going to be watching when I got the likes of Ben White on the pitch. You know what I mean?
Yes. We'll come on to Mr. White later. Don't worry about that. Don't worry. Lottie, gather yourself. Come on. You can do it. You can do it, Lottie. Come on.
All right. Now my internet connection's settled down.
Yeah.
Bruno Guimaraes. We need the midfield. That is really missing at the moment. We need to get rid of Aubameyang and bring in a striker to replace him. Let's face it, Lacazette has never been a 25 goal a season striker. Never. So we need a striker as well. For that, I'm open to whoever. But as long as they score and they know where the net is, unlike Eddie Nketiah, I don't care.
Oh, God, yeah.
Lottie, you need a big red arrow for that, dude.
Yeah, Lottie, I'll probably get the other guys' opinions briefly, but in terms of the whole Vlahovic links, like, where are you with that, personally speaking?
If he doesn't want to come to us, fine.
Yeah.
Go find somewhere else. I want someone who wants to be here. But if I wanted someone who doesn't want to be here, I'd keep Aubameyang.
But Lottie, do you think with that, do you think it's more a case of listen, if we went by what newspapers said, we'd believe everything. We're probably Ian Wright coming back to play for us in January. You never know with the media. That's how they are.
Do you know what? I don't care what the media say. His behaviour said otherwise. He turns up late for training. He sulked like a child last season at the North London derby because he was benched, because he was late. He's the captain. He's meant to be the first person there. And all of a sudden the media are reporting that he's turning up to training half hour early. Well done. What do you want? Gold star. You should be doing that anyway.
Yeah, when I saw that, I thought that's ridiculous. Honestly. No. But no, go on, Lottie. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, he just makes me angry. His whole attitude stinks. I mean, you see stuff on his social media, and I think him and his brother were cruising along in one of his cars, and they were posing for the camera, and he was driving along on the road. Like, it's just he's a complete and utter poser. He's not here to play football. He did it at Borussia Dortmund. He's doing it again at Arsenal. I never wanted him in the first place.
Oh, strong words. I think with the Aubameyang thing, I'm gonna get you guys quickly. The Tottenham, like, they're probably thinking, "Oh, I like listening to this bit of you know." But no, I think with the Aubameyang thing, quickly for me is the sooner it gets resolved in terms of, and when I mean resolved, I mean moved on. The problem with a lot of, and I always use the key word so Arsenal fans don't get upset. Sections of the fan base. There's too much.
Bring us together, Albert. You know that.
No, you know why I don't do that. There's too many. There's too many sections of the fan base that are too sentimental to these players, and they don't deserve it. I've always said this. There's no Arsenal player probably in recent years, for many years, I would ever think about getting on the name of the back of my shirt. No chance. Them days. I had that feeling them days were back when Wright was playing and Merson. I loved them guys. Them guys were winners. They deserved it. But it's like the crop of these group of these players, no chance. So the Aubameyang thing, as soon as it gets resolved and he moves on, listen, no one player is bigger than the football club. As my dear brother Kenny Ken says, the club is a star. Facts. So Holly and Jay, let me come to you quickly. I know you probably have your thoughts, and maybe it might want to add a little bit of banter to it as well. But what do you make of from an outside? What did you make of sort of the whole Aubameyang situation from what you've seen and heard?
Well, we're talking about blood clot, Zach. You know what I mean? Yang, I mixed in Lacazette there as well. I don't know why, but you know, you're talking about groups of fan bases. You know, if he's on his Instagram story, then it's all right. Do you know what I mean? But I like I said, alluded to it earlier. It's you just don't. Obviously, we had the Kane saga in the summer, which you laugh, but I was probably in the minority of Spurs fans, which you also said earlier about I wouldn't believe what I read in the papers. I never, and you can back me up here, throughout the whole Kane thing, and we had a row about it. We don't argue about a lot, but we rowed about Kane. We rowed about Kane. I you know, the Kane situation is very different to the Aubameyang situation. Aubameyang's out there; it's obvious what's going on, and like you said about it being done, I don't feel like we said about the turn of Arsenal's form have been ever since he's not in the matchday squad. Imagine how much better of an atmosphere.
19 plus goals we've scored without him.
But this is the thing. From an Arsenal perspective, surely, you know, if I was playing for Arsenal, which obviously I never would, but if I was playing for, well, I don't know, if they're paying me what Aubameyang's paying me, I might put my loyalties.
Yeah, you might, and you might, you know, when you finish your career, Jay, you look at the trophy cabinet, you see the medals there, you know.
Yeah, all the cobwebs.
Yeah, but yeah, if I'm in the Arsenal squad and I'm seeing someone getting paid whatever he's getting paid, and he's sat at home and I'm having to slug my guts out. Don't get me wrong, the Arsenal players are performing well at the minute, but that's going to be in the back of their heads, and that's also going to be in their heads when they go for contract negotiations. When they go for this, they're going to go, oh, wait a minute. You know, Saka, Smith Rowe, all of these boys are starting to get a bit good now. They're not going to want the money that they're on. They're going to want the money that the stars are on. Oh, wait a minute. Aubameyang was on this much and he treated the club like crap. Well, surely I should get that money. It's just, like you said, he needs to go. He needs to go.
Especially with young, impressionable players as well.
Because they're just going to see that as the example. They're going to go, oh, well, why should I conduct myself well? Why should I do that? Because we said it earlier about players coming and Ndombele, you know, we paid all this money for him. I don't care what anyone says. You will find one or two players in every club that care about the team they play for. The rest of them just care about where their paycheck comes from. And if they like where they play, even better. But in all honesty, you know, he needs to go for you guys, because otherwise it's just going to cause a massive problem when it comes to contract negotiations with the players that you guys want to keep, because they're going to say, how come he's on all this money and we're not?
No, fair point. So like, coming back to sort of Lottie, like with the just a little bit more on the Aubameyang thing, then we'll sort of move on. But and I mentioned it earlier in terms of sections of the fan base. I think this is the problem we have is, I was quite surprised in terms of the reaction to Mikel Arteta in terms of dropping Aubameyang. Second time round, that was reported. And the problem is, because of people's dislike for Mikel Arteta and not wanting him there, they can't look at the bigger picture in terms of, actually, no, he was right to do what he did. You should have dropped him. You can't have a situation, people saying he threw him under the bus. He didn't throw Aubameyang under the bus. Listen, if he really wanted to throw Aubameyang under the bus, he would have come out with exactly the reasons as to why he's not playing in the team. He didn't say that. He said disciplinary reasons. So he didn't throw him under the bus. So I don't really understand. And it's like I said, to come back to Lottie again, there's too much. I always say this. When you have sections of the fan base whose interests are not in the best interest of the football club, and more about caring about Granit Xhaka and Aubameyang and Bellerin, you're on a hiding to nothing. You're absolutely hiding to nothing. These players are not bigger than the football club. I don't care how good they are, how much you like them, you know, Bellerin doing good, speaking well about humanitarian issues. That's fine. I can take that in isolation, but actually, in terms of what you're bringing to the team, you're bringing nothing. There's still some of these guys, if it's down to me, they wouldn't be playing at Arsenal. They're lucky to be playing for Arsenal. Very lucky. Let me come to Lots before he moves on, man. Briefly. Anything you want to add to it?
No, you're sitting there talking about all these players that are not good enough. I was just thinking, I've read some stats earlier today for 34, and he's picked up, since January 2019, he's picked up 29 cards. He's only got 67 in his career. What does that tell you?
Former club captain, that is.
Yeah, let me quickly ask you. We're going to talk about him very briefly. I know Lottie's feelings about him, but as a rival fan, what do you make of his time in England, and what do you make of his time as a footballer?
Yeah, you can go if you like.
I love it. I think he's great on your team.
You love it when he comes up there, don't you?
Yeah. I honestly, it's.
Jay, taking into consideration particularly what you see with Lottie without Shabi and people in the chat, what Arsenal's fans' feelings are in terms of what he brings to the team.
And with bringing stuff to the team and the fans, I still to this day, rivalry aside, cannot believe that he's ever put an Arsenal shirt back on again after what happened a couple of seasons ago. And also, as I'm not picking holes in your club, I promise. How the hell do you pick your club captains? Seriously.
You can thank Emery for the leadership group for that.
Yeah, you go from yeah, good evening. It is when Xhaka gets sent off. And you go from Xhaka, who's throwing his shirt on the floor and telling the fans to God knows what. So then this whole Aubameyang situation, but Xhaka on the field, without putting comparisons, Xhaka is as good as Xhaka thinks he's Højbjerg, but he gets a lot more red cards than Højbjerg. That's what Xhaka thinks. That's how Xhaka tries to play. Xhaka thinks he's that player, but he ain't. He's
a donkey.
Jay, sorry to cut in. You know what it is? Again, Lottie will back me up. The general consensus of the Arsenal fans that I'm going to say it, that ride out for Granit Xhaka, say that he brings structure and team shape to the way the team play. That's what they say.
But he gets sent off.
But where's the structure and team shape when you've got to play 10 men?
That's what we hear. That's what we hear. That's
what we hear. That it just shows the deluded fan base. But it's just
some sections.
Some sections.
Yes,
some sections.
Remember, Jay, you're the Arsenal channel, trying to
I'll go private on Twitter quickly before. But no, but from if I was to be objective and I was to say, okay, so what does Xhaka bring that excites me? I do like. Are we allowed to swear on here? No. Yes.
It's on Facebook Live, so probably not. No.
All right. He's I don't know. He's like Eric Lamela, right? He just runs around. He'll kick people up in the air, and he'll get everyone going. He needs to come off the bench. I think he comes on and he lifts everyone with his big tackles, with his all of this. But to last 90 minutes, he can't do it because he can go 25 minutes to get one yellow card, but he can't go 90 minutes and he'll definitely get 2 yellow cards or a straight red in that time. I think he should come on to boost players rather than start from the beginning. Because that's what he brings, and that's what Lamela brought for us. Some of Lamela's best moments, and came from him coming on and just lifting the team. But you do need players like that. But when it starts to become like Lottie said, the stat about his cards, wow, I was mind blown when Lottie said that. I can't believe that it's. I know obviously I've never placed a bet in my life because I know I'd get addicted straight away. But if I did and someone gave me £100, Granit Xhaka yellow card. Easy money.
I make about £100 a month out of it. I'm not complaining.
It is. It's just I think that I'm in a few Arsenal group chats and I had a good conversation with my boy RJ, and I said the one person you got to blame as to why he's still here is Mikel Arteta. For as much as praise as some Arsenal fans want to give him, and he probably. So a lot of Arsenal fans will give Mikel Arteta a lot of latitude, believe me, a hell of a lot. But he's kept him here twice, and I think what Arsenal fans, what I try to say is that it's not about whether you like him or dislike him. The natural thing that should have happened in the summer and before that, when Emery was still here, he should have been moved on. The likes of him and Hector Bellerin. Stop then the Arsenal fans don't go on Twitter and debate with each other for the whole season talking about the same thing. That could have been alleviated and done if they just moved him on, but they didn't do that. And that's the problem. He's still here. And he's a talking point, and he's going to be a talking point continuously because he's still here. And that's the problem. I don't think necessarily January is gonna listen. Arsenal will get some players in that. I can't guarantee who they're gonna get in, but there's talks of Artemelo from Juventus on loan. Like I said, Gigi Wijnaldum was linked even probably before the start of January, to be honest with you. But time will tell. Time will tell. But yes, people, as I say, smash the like button. And if you want to, you've got the guys' Twitter details going along the bottom of the screen. Football community, go and support them. Even if you have got Tottenham fans there, but it happens, but it's fine. So yeah, we sort of go back to our last Premier League game. So you played Watford, I believe, winning 1-0 away. And obviously we had the game, me and Lottie was there New Year's Day for a very good game of football. Unfortunately, the result didn't go away against Manchester City. I'm going to get the team lineups from the last two games. Do you guys want to come to my Tottenham connection first? If I can find it. Where's it gone now? I might not even have it. Oh, no, it's not there. Oh, there it is. Brilliant. So, yeah, do you think that team, coming to them, obviously, Holly and Jay first, is that team going to be similar to what you might think will be the team against Arsenal, or what changes would you make from that?
I mean, I wish Sonny was a part of it, but that won't be the case, obviously.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, I know. I heard the O was very much welcomed by me then. That was brilliant. But, yeah, no, I think it will roughly stay the same. Like I said, Son will drop out. Lucas Moura, or I want Lucas Moura to stay on because he's literally the burning light at Tottenham at the moment, while everybody's a bit dung, shall we say. He's the only one that shines through. I'd obviously like to see, I think the combination, I know that I slagged Winks off a little bit from the start, but I think the combination of Skip and Winks works slightly better at the moment, just in terms of, it sounds ridiculous, but Winks is, I think, obviously his release of the ball, finding the pass is a little bit better than Højbjerg at the moment. In the Tottenham fan base, lots of people are getting a bit annoyed with Højbjerg, shall we say. So maybe seeing Skip and Winks in the middle might be the kind of case scenario, I think. I mean, Jay, who else do you think will play instead of Sonny, maybe?
Well, that's the big question, is who plays instead of Son. If we play the formation you've got on screen, the only option for us really is Brian Gill, is the only option to go out there, or Bergwijn, but we don't know what the Bergwijn situation is. But then if we decide to go narrow and play, I know Kane is number 10, but as in play a natural 10, with Lucas Moura and Kane up front, and then, that opens up the options for, Gio or Dele. But I apart from that, what's on the screen in front of me is I would say minus Davies, but even on his day, Davies is all right. But I would probably say that's our best 11.
Okay, I was going to come to you. I want to ask you two guys a question in terms of Hugo Lloris. Before I'll get Lottie's opinions about the Arsenal side, we were going to think it's going to turn up, but this is my personal opinion. I might upset some Tottenham fans, but personally, I don't really mind, to be honest. But because obviously you see Hugo Lloris more than obviously me and Lottie will see him. But I look at him at Tottenham, and more so actually for France in the last 2 years. I'm surprised he's still France number 1, if I'm being honest with you. I know he's a captain, but I've seen a goalkeeper, for me, I'm surprised he's even still at Tottenham, to be honest. I'm surprised Tottenham haven't looked at that position a bit more than possibly they should have. I think he's a very good goalkeeper many, many, many moons ago, for me personally. He's not over the hill, but I just see too many glaring mistakes, to be honest with you, for club and country. What's your guys' thoughts about that?
I mean, the way your face is talking, I feel like you should maybe go first.
As to say, what's the line? Oh, well, as an ex-goalie, no, Hugo Lloris is a World Cup winner. That's it. That's all I need to say. He's a World Cup winner. He's aging. The question I ask, and I'll ask it back to you as a club that's gone through 47 goalkeepers in the last 5 seasons. You know, for you, who do we get in? Who's moving to Tottenham, or who's replacing him? That's good enough to be at his level now, or better now, and that answers, in my eyes, a lot of the doubt that people have around Lloris.
What's the feeling within the Tottenham sort of fan base about him?
I think if you were to ask this question maybe last season or the season before, we'd be having our doubts. Obviously, where he got that injury and then came back into the squad, he was having a lot, like you say, glaring mistakes. But I think as time's gone on, and especially, I'd even say last season and this season, I think there's a lot of opportunities. He's kept us in games and things could have been a lot worse. So I think I can see what you're saying, but like Jay says, with all the issues we have at the moment, like goalkeepers, like at the bottom.
Are you happy with your reserve goalkeepers you got in terms of
No,
But
terminate the loan. Terminate the loan. Terminate the loan. You know, I'll sell one of my monitors. I'll do something. Just to terminate the loan. Get Alfie Whiteman on the bench or Brandon Austin. Terminate the loan. I want him back to.
No, it's interesting because it's interesting. Obviously, I know the two Tottenham fans. I want to get your thoughts because I know you mentioned about the World Cup winner thing. But I also remember watching that final, and I know obviously France went on to win, but he made a mistake. Howler in that final. I think if you did that when it was 2-2, wow, I think he would have to emigrate to another country because that mistake is just unforgivable. But luckily, they went on to win it. But yeah, Lloris is. I'm not saying he's I'm not saying he's a terrible goalkeeper. Let me make that very, very clear. I'm just saying I've seen a hell of a lot of glaring mistakes. Goalkeepers make mistakes, obviously, and they get highlighted more because of the goalkeeper. But I think maybe you might look at another goalkeeper and thought, you know what, maybe someone else needs to come in. But as you describe your backup goalkeeper so eloquently, yeah, I guess there isn't anybody else to come in.
No. Well, he cost us the game. He cost us the game against Chelsea. Simple as that. Any person that's played in goal for more than a week or done one goalkeeper session knows if you come for a cross, you come and get that ball. If you don't come for a cross, you stay on your line. That's it. You don't come and half-ass go at it. But that's the problem, and that's where, like, I love Ramsdale as a keeper. Just gonna come on. No,
Jay, let me rephrase that. It's not Aaron. It's Aaron Rambo Ramsdale.
You've been watching Cycling GK, haven't you? You've been watching Cycling GK.
He's brilliant. He's brilliant, Ram. Yeah, talk about Ramsdale. Yeah, what do you think of him as a Tottenham fan?
Well, he is the epitome of a new age English goalkeeper. Distribution is he reminds me of Ederson, but I think that shows Brazilian goalies have always had that because from a young age, Brazilian goalies are always forced to play with the ball at their feet. They're always forced to do all of these things. And I know from when growing up, distribution was not something I was never taught, ever, really, apart from punting it down the field. How big are your goal kicks? Not how accurate are they? Not, can you play it short? And I think it is, you know, I think Pickford's had his time. And I think...
The only thing Pickford's had over all the other goalkeepers is his distribution. He hasn't got that over Ramsdale.
No.
So England's number one is round the corner. Trust me. Rambo Ramsdale. Well, look, Lottie, let me come to you. Goodness knows what our team lineup's going to be if the game goes ahead. Flipping hell. Yeah, let's go for it. This is our starting lineup against City. Obviously, I think. Listen, let's say, for example, argument's sake, the game does go ahead. I definitely think Tommy Yasu and ESR will come in.
Well, we've got no choice. We've got no Odegaard. He's got COVID. Party's away. Dumb Dodo got himself a red card, so we're not seeing him for the next 2 games. Do you know what I mean? So it's like that whole middle of the park is missing, and you can't expect Sambi. He's 22 years old. 22 years old, just come to this league. You can't. I mean, he did really well on Thursday night up at Anfield, but... Yeah. Can you still hear me?
Yeah. Lottie, just to come back
Yeah.
to you, sorry. Do you think it?
Tom?
I think the problem we've got, right, is I think when you look at our midfield, not necessarily the graphic on screen, just what we actually have at the club. Don't you think it kind of highlights the poor due diligence and planning with Arsenal, knowing we're going into a season where there's AFCON and we don't have particularly very strong midfield anyway?
No, it does.
Why
I mean,
why have we allowed ourselves to get into the situation we had where we were playing Patino and Sambi against Nottingham Forest away? What's your thoughts?
because let's face it, El Sideways has never been good enough. He's a good hard worker, don't get me wrong. I appreciate that, but he scored his first Premier League goal last season. How long has he been with us?
Terrible.
I
Since
mean,
Wenger days. Yeah,
it's disgraceful. I
know.
Yeah, Maitland-Niles doesn't want to play right back. He wants to play in the middle of the park. I mean, he's
not good enough for that. Yeah.
No, he's not good enough for that. I'd rather have him as a backup to Tomiyasu, and he won't play there. He's now gone off to Roma.
Yeah.
And it's just, and then that leaves little Charlie. All the Arsenal, certain sections of this fan base are all, let's get Charlie on. He's not ready to come and play first team football. He's not ready. Yes, he came on for minutes the other week and scored, but he wasn't on for the full 90 minutes.
I think that was the issue against Forest. If you're going to play him, you put an experienced guy next to him. But unfortunately, Arteta saw otherwise. Oh dear! But guys, we're 56 minutes in. But no. Also, the last thing I sort of want to come to you guys and ask is actually let me ask. I want to get your opinions, actually, Jay and Holly, about one of our players because for some reason amongst, and I wouldn't even say it's rival fans. I'd say it's actually within the Arsenal fan base. Talk about Ben White. He was outstanding yesterday, by the way. Absolutely outstanding. Positioning is excellent, but there's a lot of Arsenal fans. Lottie might agree with me. I'm not sure. Where it's almost as if they can't wait for him to have a bad game, and they will absolutely jump on him on social media. What do you make of Ben White? Generally, when he's at Brighton, and what you've seen in an Arsenal shirt, in your honest opinion.
Do you want to go?
Yeah. Money is the answer to your question, Albert. Money is the answer. There's nothing better than seeing a player go to a club for a lot of money and then failing. God knows at Tottenham we've had about 600 million players that have signed for us for a lot of money. Roberto Goldado, we've had many a player come to our club, and that's the reason, and for Ben White, I don't think he's good, but I don't think he's Arsenal's starting centre-back. But I think it shows how Arsenal aren't the team they were. And the same with us. We're not the team we were. But I think the fact that Ben White is one of your best centre-backs, the centre-backs that have played for Arsenal over the years. Huh?
Gabriel's our best centre-back.
Yeah, no, I said one off. Right.
Yeah.
You got Mr. Hair Transplant. He's so
don't even get me started on him.
But you see what I mean. The fact that I don't want to bring up Judas, but you had Judas back in the day, and Arsenal have had a long history of incredible centre backs, and now they're punting on a 24-year-old guy who had a couple of good seasons at Brighton, playing alongside the two most Brexit centre-backs on planet Earth, Lewis Dunk and Shane Duffy, which meant that he didn't have to do all this hard stuff. And little things that I did like when Minamino missed and he laughed in his face. I like to see that on a pitch. I do like that. I do like that in football. I don't think there's enough of it these days. I think it's...
But Jay, do you know what it is? I think the problem is, and I mentioned it earlier in the stream, is I don't know how it is amongst Tottenham fans in terms of players that are linked or players that don't have fashionable names that are linked with your club, but there's a massive snobbery when it comes to Arsenal. And I said this before and I'll say it again. If Ben White, from what I've seen when he was at Leeds and when at Brighton, I've been very impressed. when you have centre back pairings, you have one that's predominantly dominant and one that Ben White's almost like a kind of a sweeper centre back. He doesn't dive into tackles. He's very good on the ball. He's very good at reading the game. And I think the problem is if he'd have gone, Liverpool were linked with him. That's not a secret. If he'd have gone to Liverpool and tore it up, Arsenal fans would have lost their minds. Why didn't we get him? See, we should have bought him and bought him. The problem is when you're an English player and they pay a lot of money for you. With a lot of transfers, you have to pay over the odds. English players are not.
English tax. It's English tax.
Yeah. But I think with the Ben White thing, I think he had a very good preseason. I didn't see anything there that to me didn't prove is a good signing. And I think he's done well along with Gabriel. Actually, we've got a defence at Arsenal where a lot of Arsenal fans can have a lot more faith. So, like I said, it's within the Arsenal fan base that seems to still have an issue with Ben White. And partly I think it is a snobbery thing. And he came from Brighton.
That's the thing. He came from Brighton. Yeah, if he came from any other club, say like you said, the other lot, then we wouldn't necessarily have this conversation. But because he's English and he came from Brighton,
yeah, he's overrated. Lottie, let me bring you on our body beautiful Ben White. What's your thoughts on him?
First off, I just want to apologise for my internet connection. It's
No,
worse
that's all right. It happens.
Tottenham's trophy record at the moment. I do apologise.
Go on, Holly. Go on, Lottie. Go on.
No, as for Ben White, I've watched him since he's played at Peterborough. I knew what he was bringing for the club. Obviously, my stepdad is one of you lot, guys, just to let you know. But he's also a Peterborough fan. So I've watched him for a long time. I even watched him at Leeds when that season they came up. So I knew what he's bringing to the table. I was happy to pay the money.
No, it's like I said, I kind of it's mad because usually you get a lot of rival fans that banter, I don't know, certain players at clubs, but for Ben White, it seems to be our own fan base. To be honest with you,
it's, as you said, Albert,
it's a strange one. It's a very, very strange one. I think you're gonna have to give him the season and just see how it pans out. But he's done all right. Listen, like I said, you normally have centre backs. You have one dominant centre back and one that is not so dominant, but they can work in tandem as a centre back partnership. Arsenal, I can't remember for many seasons, they had a lot of clean sheets. Arsenal getting a clean sheet at Anfield. Who would have thought that?
Last couple of times I've been up there, I've seen them lose 5-0. Don't even go there.
The
last season I was there, I literally broke my foot the week before. I went up there on crutches. I almost got knocked out by Oxlade-Chamberlain from taking warm-up shots. And then we just lost 5-0. What Bellerin was doing on the left-hand side, I will never know what was going through.
But if Liverpool had Salah and Mane, you wouldn't have kept a clean sheet.
Yeah, but we can't. I know, but we can't. You know, AFCON's come round, and I know Liverpool.
Well, you said, but it was a really good point earlier, and I said to Holly, I said when you said about AFCON, we've got none. Not a single player out there. Not a single player. And it was a really interesting point. I hadn't even considered that. That is probably a process that teams go through when recruiting and going that. And if they're not doing it, they should be, because that's a great point. We've got no players in the African Cup of Nations, and you've got what, 2, 3, 4. Yeah,
and we had some key
half
boys
of them are in our midfield.
Yeah. And we had some key boys missing yesterday that in terms of Tomiyasu and ESR. So now I heard about the Salah and the Mane thing, but they still had Liverpool still had a very good, very strong side out. Very, very strong side. And Diego Jota's got an unbelievable record against Arsenal, which pains me, but it is what it is. But people, before we come to the end of the show, score prediction time. Right, let me come to the Tottenham lot first, actually. Let's see what they come up with today. On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you feeling going into the game if it still goes ahead? And also, score predictions.
I was going to say, like I said, obviously the whole thing about you clipping me being scared of you. I am slightly worried because of that draw you had against Liverpool. And I am going to the game as well, and I have a running streak of watching draws. So I don't want to be cliche, but I reckon it's going to be a 1-1. I think personally.
Okay. The Arsenal fans are allowed to go to the stadium this time properly. So We'll make it. We'll make plenty of noise. Don't worry about that. Jay, what about you, mate? What about you?
I'll say what I said. I don't know whether it was at the beginning of this stream or before we went on stream. I am so unconfident that we're going to win that I think we're going to win. That's how it is. I honestly, I swear to God, if I'd love to pull up the stats on it, but if you look at, even if it's not stats, whichever team goes into this game who needing a pick me up, which is normally Arsenal.
Yeah.
You know, because we don't win anything, but we're normally doing all right. Whereas, you know, you guys go from you guys have real peaks and troughs, I think. But you know, at the minute we need a pick me up, and we're playing all right. So I think clean sheet, no. Lots of goals, no. Therefore, 2-1 Spurs.
Interesting reasoning. We'll come to my Lottie Van Totti. What you said score-wise, Lottie?
Do you know what? I'm going to go for a draw. I'd rather take the point than the L at this point.
Yeah, 100%.
But
So
hopefully with some luck, we'll get our way and get postponement with some luck.
Sorry, Lottie. We're 2 points at the Spurs here, but Spurs have got 2 games in hand, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So we're on 35.
They did have
Spurs
3 and they 3-1 away, didn't they?
They did throw it away. They did. To remind them, please. So, what am I going to say? Like I said, I think not just that we're going to get back. Not just Takahiro Tomoyasu. Takahiro flipping Tomoyasu. What a signing! What a flaming signing! But our record against Tottenham, I'm not stupid, is awful. Away, I don't. We need to put that right. But if I'm going with my head, I think we'll get a draw. If I'm going with my heart,
there won't be anything given away
it
in this game because there's no squad from Mustafi. My last Spurs away game, I was at Wembley. As soon as I saw squad from Mustafi come on, that's it. That was it. If you give something away, Kane's going to score. And what happened?
I think the general, because I think I think Arsenal might sneak it. I'm not going to say that 100% confidently because I need to see who's going to actually start for us.
Albert, do you think Tierney's going to need his extra Tesco badge to take Kane home?
Yes, I think Ben White still got Kane in his pocket. I think from
who holds the record for the most goals in North London derbies out of interest?
Oh God,
I'm not sure. I'll have a look.
Well, have a look, Lottie. Have a look.
Is it? Does he play for Tottenham? Does he wear number 10? And is he playing for England?
I don't know.
He is.
Oh, you're talking about that window licker. His face up against the transfer window.
He plays well in England. Yeah, he does. He definitely does. Yeah, might get another Amazon documentary to watch against Tottenham. It's beautiful.
That's what I found funny at the beginning of the season. Twitter and everywhere was gagging for your Amazon documentary to come out because you were like absolutely dreadful. And now I'm like, I don't want to watch it anymore. I don't want to watch it anymore.
Do you know what? With everything
I just watched the first 3 episodes.
We're going to get a BAFTA for that. We're going to get a BAFTA for it.
But no, people, we have come to the end of Albert JTV's match preview. North London derby. What a fantastic show. Big up to the people in the chat. It's been very, very lively. Apologies if I didn't read out all your comments, but thank you for sticking in and watching the show. This went out on Facebook Live. Like I said before, I'll put this on my audio for all my audio listeners so you can hear the lovely podcast again. If you didn't hear it, if you didn't see it the first time. But firstly, I want to thank my rival friends for coming on this show. Big up to Holly and Jay. Thank you for coming on. I told you I've got some decent people in the crowd in my chat. No, nothing too over the top. You know, he was all right today. He's all right today. But Holly, much love to you as always. Keep doing amazing work on your channel. I do keep an eye on it, even though I'm an Arsenal fan. And Jay, what a brand fantastic debut. You're much welcome on here again. So thank you for coming on, people.
Having me.
That's good.
Jay, you're a big gamer. If there's any big gamers out there, Jay, what you got? You've got your channel with you? Have you plugged it?
So you can find me occasionally streaming on Twitch, twitch.tv/JJSeason. I play a lot of Football Manager and Madden. I can't play FIFA anymore. I go through too many controllers. So it's Madden or Football Manager. So yeah, and I do a little bit of YouTube, but not like, you know, not like you guys. Not like you guys.
Of course. Holly, where can the people find you? Even though she's Tottenham, people go and support my lovely Tottenham wife. Come on, man.
Literally just my name, basically. I try to keep it simple, and then, like I always say, I've got a horrendously spelt first name and surname. But yeah, find me on all sorts at Holly Agenbar.
Well done. Thank you for gracing me. Like I said, thank you for gracing me on the Albert JTV red carpet. It's been a pleasure. I wish you well for Sunday if it goes ahead, by the way. And last but not least, Lottie Van Totti. Thank you for coming on the show. Where can the guys find you? Because you're about everywhere, man.
Everywhere. This is my first stream of the year. Thanks, though. No, you can come find me on Cannon Chat TV, or you can find me at Lottie_B, which is my name on the screen, which is somewhere over here. I don't know where it is on the phone screen. But Cannon Chat should be back next week at this point. But I don't know when.
Oh, no worries. People, like I said, big ups to people in the chat. This went out on YouTube and Facebook Live. And like I said, audio listeners, it's coming out soon. But people, hopefully we have a game to actually watch and Holly can go to the game on Sunday. But for now, my amazing people, this is Albert JTV over and out. Hashtag North London Derby. Over and out, people.